What's up, everyone? It is Ricci here, bringing you back the F1 podcast as we kick off season 3 of this amazing journey for us. I'm here with Andrew and Erica. How are you guys doing? Welcome back.
I'm alive.
We
and
are
can't
here.
wait for F1 to begin again. It's been way too long.
My goodness, Sundays have just felt so boring and empty.
Yes, I totally agree. But hey, the last couple of days we've had it's been kind of eventful. We booked our event, which we'll talk about later in the episode. Also, we had a lot of liveries that came out last couple of days, so we're going to talk about those today. Also, I met a Formula One driver the other week.
That's
How was that
pretty neat.
experience?
It was interesting. Not expected. I met Johnny Herbert, drove with Benetton. He's won 3 races. He's done the Le Mans as well. I was in the office and somebody came up to me and he's like, "Do you know Johnny Herbert?" And I said, "Oh, like that name sounds familiar." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna be in the office in 15 minutes. I got to meet him. I got to talk to him. He told me about what it was like to race in the 90s against Schumacher. He won 3 races, Silverstone, and I know Italy was one of the Italian Grand Prix was one. But yeah, he told me a lot about what it was like, and it was funny because I went to the lunchroom and then I came back and he was just chilling by my desk looking at my Ferrari cars that I have on my desk. So we got a good photo. I'm gonna post in the thing. But yeah,
That's so cool.
That is, see, kids, that is why you put memorabilia and stuff that showcases your personality on your office desk.
I wish I could do that. We don't have permanent desks. It's all hotel desks in our office.
Just bring like a box with you and carry it everywhere you go.
I do have a little cubby where I've put stuff I don't want to take home in, but I digress.
I'm very jealous of you, Ricci, because that is such a cool experience.
Yeah, and I guess he was in Toronto doing some car stuff, and now obviously we have the car show this weekend. Is it called the car show? I think it is, but I'm gonna be there tomorrow if anyone wants to meet up. I think there is an Alfa Romeo car there, but we'll find out. Stay tuned to social media.
Remember when Johnny Herbert posted a picture about him having lunch, and I was like, I thought I totally knew where it was. Like, it's some restaurant that I've been to a couple times. And
I know where this is in Aurelia.
Yeah, I was like, and then I look at the menu after sending that message to everybody, and I was like, this is it literally says Angel's Diner.
No.
And I thought it was a Wimpy's Diner. I'm like, you're an idiot, Andrew. Wake up.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool meeting a former F1 driver, and shout out to Johnny. We did post a photo on our social media page. Also, yeah, it did. Realizing we have a kind of a packed agenda today. Let's get into it. Testing is just around the corner. I think we're less than 2 weeks away.
I'm so excited.
Coffee's kicking in.
Yeah, I know. We're filming this at 10:30 on a Sunday. We normally don't do it this early. But it only worked out. So before testing, a lot of the teams have to release their cars. And what we thought the best way to start this season is let's talk about some of these. This is the first time fans were able to be part of the liveries, I think, really. So we got to see a lot of cool things. I don't know how we want to do this, but I guess let's go in the order, whatever ESPN has it, this order. Yeah, I have open.
And I have the same article that open.
Oh my goodness. Maybe send it to Erica too. So I think what we're gonna do, guys, is we're just gonna go through each one and talk about what our thoughts are. I think some cars look really nice, some really suck.
There's a common element among all of them this year, and it is weight saving.
Do you think so?
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but I think a lot of these liveries have incorporated weight saving measures so that teams can get to them, get to that maximum threshold without going overweight.
Interesting.
Makes sense. Well, speaking of teams playing it safe, let's start with Red Bull.
Clary, tell us how you felt about that reveal.
I don't know how in good conscience I watched that thing for 50 freaking minutes, and it was like people we've never heard of. The YouTube chat was going off about how just unveil the damn car. It had all this pomp and circumstance, and then they reveal, oh, it's the same bloody car. Like, if anything, they changed where the Red Bull is on the car in terms of design.
Yeah,
but it's literally Control C, Control V, and change it up a couple ways, and boom, there's your livery for 2023.
Well, literally, the article we have here says Red Bull presented an unchanged livery for the new season. And I can't even really think of anything new.
I do like, though, what I think is going to be really cool is that they had that the doodler. I forget what his name was, but he made like a custom livery out of his doodles. and they were going to auction that off for, I think it's Wings for Life, their charity. But also there's a contest going on right now with Red Bull. If you love F1 and if you are an artist, I recommend joining the Paddock Club at Red Bull, because at the 3 US races this year, they are going to run fan designed liveries.
Oh, that's cool.
That's neat.
Right. So that would be an opportunity if you are interested in Formula One, if you love Formula One, if you love to, get your artistic value or your side going, why not submit? I think it'd be a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, no kidding. That's one to definitely. I didn't know you could do that. I'm not even a Red Bull fan, but I'm like, hot damn, sign me up.
Maybe we should paint one and send it over to them.
Hey, why not?
I could do the most Microsoft Paint of livery submissions.
It's literally just like we literally use MS. We send the MS Paint file over to them.
I don't know if you two remember, but in university, I'd always have like event pages for the parties we threw, and it would be like the jankiest photo in the background.
But it was awesome though. It was so
just
good.
like a collage of random stuff, like Canada Day, and I've got like Justin Trudeau with no teeth and like geese everywhere, a thing of poutine, and everyone's just saying sorry and apologizing to each other in Comic Sans font.
So I
I'm
know
sure there'll be someone else who puts like a ton of effort and does like this beautiful design, and then there'll just be us, like Microsoft Paint file. Off you go.
And you know what the best part is? We probably will win.
Yeah. It would be the Bodie McBoatface of cars.
I would love it.
Guys, we need to do this. This is okay. I don't know what I'm doing with the rest of my day.
We should have one where it's like Verstappen is like waving, like Verstappen and Checo are waving bye.
You lose
on the livery as they're passing cars. It's just, bye.
DRS flips up and there's just someone flipping you off with their fingers.
do a barrel roll.
The rocket ship comes going on by. I don't know. I tried to do something funny there. It didn't work. Anyways, I think the big criticism, like the car obviously is still going to it's probably one of the most favorite cars for next year, but 53 minutes. And then they just try to, I get their concept. What Red Bull was trying to do is they trying to promote other items for their company.
But there's a time and place for that.
Yeah.
And that was not the time nor the place.
Well, they announced Ford was coming on.
But that was
kind of a sleeper pick. I don't even remember about that one. All right. So our next car that we're going to come up with, according to this article, but I think was probably one of the best liveries, was Ferraris. Mm-hmm. And man, can you talk about presentation from a beautiful day in Maranello to almost like 500, 600 fans in the stands? I think the car looked slick. It had the black rear wing. My only criticism for Ferraris was, I don't know if you guys saw the new shirts, but they have the shell kind of like down and then the Ferrari logo. It should be like kind of the same level, but it kind of just looks a little awkward.
That's weird. Did someone just slap the logos on and call it a day, and they didn't bother to account for any,
what though?
Normalcy in the shirt.
Yeah. I thought Ferrari had like an amazing livery last year, and they kept the same concept. But what I really like is that they added that old school Ferrari, like their old school Ferrari logo on the rear wing. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that's perfection.
I think it looks cleaner because it's a different color. It's a different color this year compared to last year's car. Mm-hmm. So it's more red. I think if the criticism of last year's was the car last year was like considered a darker red. So it didn't really have that Ferrari. Because do you remember, was it 2020 for their, I think their 1,000 race, they did like a different type of red for that. And I felt like that was, I don't know what the kind of color is, but I'm kind of looking at a photo right now of Ferrari in 2000. It's like, that's the authentic red that I know.
My only criticism on this is that the side pod advertising just makes it look way too busy.
Kind of feels like you're watching a hockey game, like the Spangler Cup with like too many advertisements everywhere.
Pretty much, because you got Ray-Ban, Siva, and Shell all together. I'm like, yo,
that's a lot.
Spread it out.
Yeah, that's a lot of logos on like one tiny bit of area. I do kind of like the little black accent for Siva on there. I think that's a fun little bit of like a change up, but I do agree that to have 3 logos crammed on a side pod is an aggressive stance to take, especially when how often did we see some of those side pods get taken out this year? That's going to be A lot of I don't know if there's going to be some subliminal messaging there. You know, George Russell comes in and decides to spearfish the side of signs and takes out the Ray-Ban logo, and all of a sudden everyone's like, I don't know why, but I don't feel like wearing these glasses anymore. Something about it just doesn't sit right.
I thought it was also cool because I think what they did was, especially if you guys watched the livery presentation, both Charles and Carlos did they got to drive the car around like 2-3 times, and I don't think many teams were did that for their opening. So I thought that was pretty freaking cool to do, and they had to do it off a coin toss.
That's funny.
Who got the first one?
I love that.
But yeah, I think I think Ferrari takes the cake. I think that presentation was great. Having the fans on Maranello, and obviously could not pick a better day. It was sunny and no clouds in the sky.
It was stunning.
Ferrari fans are already they are bought into this season, and hopefully your hearts don't get ripped out again.
I'm not even a Ferrari fan, and I want that for you. Just it was a bad year. You did not deserve the pain you went through last year at all.
Well, did you guys see Drive to Survive season 5 is coming out? I think it's next week, and the first episode is literally like a new dawn, I think they're calling it, and it shows the photo of like Ferrari going 1-2 in Bahrain. I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, but then Netflix freaking like they photoshopped it where it was that I forget what turn it was in Bahrain, but when both cars cut out, like for Red Bull, they had like Checo getting out of the car with the 2 Ferrari cars driving around him. I'm like,
oh my
this
God.
would never happen on a track. Like, it's so unsafe. Just stop.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm only excited. We could talk about season 5 there. Okay, so next on our line is the Mercedes W14, and Mercedes returns to an all black.
Sexy.
This car. Sorry. I'm having a moment over here. It's an I'll have what she's having type moment.
Oh god.
But I don't know. I loved the Mercedes. Like I loved the black car when they had that, and I was actually kind of sad they went back to the silver last year. I was like, you made a bold choice. It has paid off handsomely. And I mean that this car is a handsome car.
It just looks so much better than the silver was on the car last year. And the way the accent, like that teal accent, flows along the entire body of the car, incredible.
I also think it's really cool how, because you know how Lewis has gone with the neon yellow and George has gone with the green. Not only are the numbers on their cars those colors, but if you look, the wheel covers that come over also have that little bit of the accent on the side. So Lewis has the neon yellow on his, Russell has the green on his, which just that level, I mean, I don't think it comes as a surprise at this point in time. I really appreciate fine attention to detail. And to see that on this car here, like what a way to just kick it up to the next level with a tiny little hint of accented color like that. Woo!
No, a big reason why they're returning to the all black is because they need, even Toto said it himself, they want to reduce their weight. So even that paint weight that was in like on last year's car, they need to get rid of it. So that's why they went back to this more exposed carbon look. But to be honest with you, I think this was a whole new dawn, I think it's great. When they did it in 2020, as we race as one, in the BLM movement going towards this, black livery with regards to Mercedes. But I think this should just be a permanent fixture in their team going forward.
Well, I think they're gonna have to give feedback to obviously because they're known for the silver arrows for a reason. I think honestly, just look at how they did it, and especially watching the I don't know if you guys watched the liveries ceremony or whatever. They had all the previous liveries in the back in the corner, and it showed all the different ones. And I think my only criticism is if they're all going to go all black, we're going to have another moment of Valtteri Bottas. I know Valtteri Bottas is on the team, but back in, I think it was 2020, he was complaining how hot it was in all black. So good luck in some of those races when the weather is 34 plus.
That is true. But Red Bull has a dark car and they've made it work. And I know that there have been instances, of course, where people are sweating profusely in those cars still, but it's not to say that it can't bring good luck. And I mean, last time they had the black car, we almost got our 8th championship out of Lewis. So
don't remind people.
I'm just saying, I'm thinking that it's going to set him up for success this year.
I do too. I think Mercedes, I don't know if they figured it all out yet, because I know that they're trying to, may have not found all the reduction in the weight that they can in the car, but I think they're going to be much more competitive than they were at the beginning of last year.
For sure. I did see there was a bit of a meme going around on F1 Troll where they were showing this car on the circuit doing a test drive, and you can see one of the head engineers with his head out of the car like, don't you dare start bouncing. Don't you dare start bouncing.
Love it.
So fingers crossed, there's been good momentum on last year, like you said, and early in the season, and hopefully a win out of Lewis this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bold prediction, but I think that's a pretty good one. I think another one that was pretty interesting was the Alpine's A523. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I said the double livery again.
So for those that don't know, is they're going to be running the pink car for the first 3 races of 2023, and then they're going to be going back to its customary blue and pink for the rest of the season. So
I think it's because of their partnership with BWT, and that's why they're showcasing that in their livery for the first 2 races, and then reverting back to the more traditional blue. But in my opinion, I thought the pink and the black is much more cleaner than the traditional livery that they have with the blue.
I feel like it looks a little busy once you add the blue in there too, because you also have a fair amount of blue from the BWT logo all over the car as well. So it's really not that much pink coming through. So why have it?
This was also a hilarious this, like, the YouTube chat on this unveiling was hilarious, saying how, oh yeah, this car looks like it could blow out a couple engines. So good. But then they also had Esteban and Pierre come out to showcase the suits, and you could just tell those two are ready to butt heads minute 1 on the track.
I do find it interesting though, because there have been a couple other reports I've read where everyone's like really diving into this rivalry between the two of them. And I think, of course, on a team like this, there's always going to be a little bit of that, because they're not necessarily quite as like teammate focused as, say, Mercedes or like Red Bull at Alpine. But from the sounds of it, like their relationship is a lot better and more amicable and friendly than how it's been portrayed in the last while. Like people are making mountains out of molehills with some of the other stuff that they might have already worked through. But I'm curious to see if once they're on track and racing against each other, it's going to unleash something different.
Well, Esteban did come out with a report, or he made a comment to the media saying that he will always fight aggressively with his teammates, and that's how he's had success. And that is how he was able to beat Alonso last year, apparently. Not that Alonso like lost 80 points due to a terrible car, but hey, Esteban, you do you, buddy.
That's fair. So we'll see what happens. Seems as though Gasly's pretty keen on starting the season and seems to feel strongly or at least positively about the relationship with Alpine right now. So is he on a 2-year contract with them? I can't recall.
Yeah, especially with both of them being French, French team. Both drivers are from France. So curious, because I feel like who's going to be the leader there. Actually, my wild card would have been, if we're going to talk about people that are not going to get along, is Alonso and Lance Stroll. That was going to be my pick, but we'll get back to that.
Oh yeah.
But
I may have something to say about that when we talk about it.
I have a wild prediction, but even better. So, but okay. So overall, I think, it was a nice car. There's no major issues. I prefer the pink. A lot of kudos needs to go to the next team is McLaren. They released their MCL60 last week too, and boy, it is sexy. Also, I don't know if you guys realize the comparison from last year's car. There's less blue on this, and it kind of goes back to the orange papaya, the iconic, obviously, color for McLaren. So I think that's one that stood out, but the car is beautiful. I like the Google. No, obviously you saw the Google wheels last year, but also you have the Google on the front wing. But
yeah, I do kind of like that they feature the papaya here. 60 is a pretty big milestone. There's not many other manufacturers that can say they've been involved in the sport that long. So I think it's nice. And if you're Piastri, what are you doing? There's going to be a lot of fun celebrations and stuff to do with the 60th anniversary, I'm sure. But yeah, I still love those Google wheels. Those are just I know some people hate, like a lot of people hated them when that came out last year. They thought it was gross and tacky and took away from the rest of the car. I thought they were stunning. I still do. And I'm excited. I'm praying to God that what they've done to the insides and the working of the car match the work they did to the outside of the car. I'm hoping and wishing and praying. If you're familiar with that song, that's very much what's on repeat in my mind right now.
I was gonna say, Erica, is this like a race winning car to you?
I don't know. I have trust issues.
I like the design. I also like how they did at the front of the front wing. They have the 60 tagged in to the nose there. I wish, my only criticism. I don't know if I think this would be kind of cool if the numbers, like the driver numbers on the front nose, was in that baby blue.
Oh, that would be cool. Maybe like a little black to outline it, help it stand out a little more.
I think that would have been like quite sexy. But hey, that's just
maybe
my thoughts.
I'm curious if maybe they'll do a special like livery for a certain race where they feature that blue more prominently, kind of like they did with golf in Monaco a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But I think
feel like
golf is
Silverstone, they
sponsoring
could
one of the
do
other
that.
teams now. So
Yeah, they're sponsoring Williams.
Williams, that's it. Regardless, I'm sure we'll, I don't know. I have a feeling, especially maybe for Silverstone, like you said, because it's the 60th anniversary and that's the home track.
Yeah, I know it would be pretty exciting to see that. But I think kudos to McLaren. I think they did a really good job with the car, and I'm actually kind of, maybe they are technically the wild card this year because you don't know how it's going to go with them. So time will tell. Another interesting change of car, Alfa Romeo's C43. They did move to the all black, and we kind of talked about this last year, where I think they did a special livery for one race, and we kind of said, why isn't that the same livery for the whole year? Or I think that was 2020, but it was beautifully done. They went all out. They obviously, Stake is, I think it's a betting site. Now they're on the side of the car, but also the way they did the announcement of Stake welcome to the team was horrendous. I don't know if any of you guys saw that video.
No, I missed it.
Yeah, it was just like both the drivers kind of like welcome Stake to the team, and it kind of looked very forced. I'm looking at this, it's a bit of red, mostly black, for weight saving reasons, but I think it looks really clean. The wheels kind of look a little Spider-Man to me, but I don't know. You make your pick about that.
I didn't think Spider-Man, but that's an interesting way to put it. I think that's bad on the part of Alfa Romeo if it was a poor announcement of the sponsor, because it's clear that Stake has given them a lot of money just purely based on the number of logos and the placement of them on the car. That's on the side of the front wing. It's on the pods on the side and on the rear wing. Like those are three pretty prominent spots to be. So I don't know, if you're a sponsor, you're probably hoping for something a little bit more dramatic, or at least non-robotic sounding when that partnership is announced.
Did you hear though that apparently they might have breached a Swiss law with that launch?
What?
Yeah, because it's so funny, right? Because Stake is a Curacao-based company, right? But some international restrictions that they have in Switzerland on advertising online gambling they have to limit their visibility of like advertising Stake. So they apparently, one of the deputy heads of like the Federal Gaming Board warned that the Alfa Romeo's event could result in criminal charges against the team.
Oh my god!
You lose.
Dead.
What? That's so funny, but ridiculous at the same time.
Because technically it's unlicensed foreign gambling. So
oh my god.
Apparently the penalty's up to 500,000 Swiss francs. I thought that was too funny.
But it's interesting because it's a good comment that you make this, because a lot of people don't realize that every country that these teams that they race in, they all have different rules in terms of advertising. So sometimes you'll see a lot of teams, like if they have an alcohol or whatever, or not tobacco anymore because that's banned, they would have to remove certain advertisement or whatever their sponsors on their cars during those races because of rules in the country. And I think you see that in Bahrain or something. I think you don't really see any alcohol sponsors on their cars.
I think that, I guess that makes sense, truly, but I'd never really noticed. I mean, I don't think there's that many alcohol sponsors anymore these days, but I guess I'm thinking back to the days of Martini. That would probably be something that would have to be pulled off. Wow. The more you know.
It's quite interesting.
But I like Peroni's sponsorship with Aston Martin, so I think we can get right into that.
Yeah.
The
Isn't that the
AMR
best looking car of the bunch? Aston Martin's.
I don't know. I still have strong feelings about the Mercedes. That's
Just kidding.
honestly, like it just looks clean. It looks really the same. It looks like it's completely unchanged. But I do like how they had. I think the coolest sponsor is Peroni. Not just because I have an Italian background, but I think when they did all their advertisements with it, I don't know, it just looked fun, like with Vettel holding a beer, but he's no longer there. Sad. I guess Fernando
This is like
Alonso
the
now holding the
Spengler
beer.
Cup of liveries.
I was gonna
Right.
say we were
Ricci?
talking about the others being aggressive with the logos. This is next level.
This is like European hockey team, like back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And when they had all like the advertising across their jerseys, this is exactly the same thing.
Oh, Andrew, I can top it off. If you go back to the Ferraris where they have the Ray-Ban, is it Siva and Shell? Look beneath the car. There's 4 more additional sponsors below it. I forgot to mention that on my notes. I just saw that. Yeah.
That's too good.
Oh my gosh, there is.
It's just like, okay, we signed an agreement with these people. We need to put them somewhere on the car. And we have no space to put them. Okay, so but yeah, looking at the Aston Martins, it completely looks unchanged. Obviously we have different drivers this year. Fernando Alonso going over there. I didn't really catch
Fernando Alonso with a new haircut too. That was a choice.
Did you watch this, Andrew?
Oh yeah, he looked like he looked like he was part of a Spanish boy band with that haircut.
Do a barrel roll.
It was like an ode to the early 2000s. But the funny part was too is that so Crofty was hosting fan questions, and the one kid asked Stroll who his favorite race for his driver was growing up. And he said Schumacher, and he enjoyed watching him beat Alonso or compete against Alonso.
You lose.
Like Stroll literally said this to the kid, and Alonso's like 2 feet from him.
Dead.
Wow, that's
already starting.
I also feel like that's kind of thinking very highly of yourself for not having any results to back it up. Because I feel like that's low-key Stroll being like, I want to be Michael Schumacher beating Fernando Alonso this year as teammates.
Okay,
and that's like, and we're like, yo, hold up, like sit down.
They have a very aggressive approach this year in terms of the overall car design. Like we won't know how good of it will be until they go on testing and go on track.
Yeah.
But the new $200 million manufacturing facility is supposed to be up in 2025. So Aston Martin fans, hold on a couple more years and quote unquote will be challenging for championships, because as Daddy Stroll mentioned that when he's into something, he invests, and when he invests, he wins. We've gotten one part of the 2 done, so hopefully we can get the W going.
We need to give Ricci a moment to collect himself after that Daddy Stroll comment.
Woo! Daddy Stroll, 1 podium, baby.
Daddy Stroll.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I honestly think that if Alonso I'm calling it 5 races in. If he's not going his way, he's out. He's probably going to retire and destroy car racing somewhere else.
Do what he did with McLaren, retire, and then start doing something else a couple years later.
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for the GP2 engine comments to come back.
Same car.
Still like the yellow accent.
Yeah, nice touch. Okay, but you know what team took a really different change this year? Haas and their F23. So and they obviously have MoneyGram with them. I guess their major sponsor. It's nice. I think it's underrated, but they had the all black on the side because this used to be a very white car, but it's really nice.
I think it's subtle, but it's stupendous, so to speak. Like you've got kind of going along the front of the car, you've got the black along the side that even has some of the white accents in it. There's a little bit of like hashing to further up. And then you can see that as it goes toward the front wing, there's a tiny little bit of a red accent that like goes along with the white and black. And I'm like, ooh, just like a little subtle pop of color. And I'm into it. I'm also just hopeful that this team does well. Like K-Mag had some great success last year coming back into the sport. We got Nico Hülkenberg, and he's gonna be back this year. We'll see what he's able to do in this thing. And I don't know. I'm hoping for big things from Haas.
It's a slick design, I think. I just think it's funny. Like the MoneyGram logo, or even like MoneyGram. It just sounds so weird saying the MoneyGram Haas F1 team as a sponsor.
What is MoneyGram? They're not like.
I think it's a cryptocurrency trading site.
Those still exist, really, after the last few months we've had, huh?
Oh, it's a cross-border payment, P2P payment money transfer company. Okay.
Okay, that sounds more legit.
Very much more respectable.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like after last year, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but a lot of those crypto sponsors aren't really so prominent on the cars. So
No.
They gone.
Whew, what a time to be alive. What is the economy after all, if not chaos? And
But
really...
I can tell you that we get a lot of crypto traders still trying to follow us on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the Forex traders are great.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that's just a daily reminder to make sure you hit that subscribe button on our pages to show some love. But no, if you're a crypto trader, we don't want your business. AlphaTauri,
Blah.
the AT04 cars changed, generally same color scheme, but they one kind of new thing is there was a lot more red in this car. I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
no, I don't. No, I think
It looks cheap.
the white nose on the front of the car seems stupid. Is it just me? Like that?
No, I agree. It looks so bad.
It's stupid. I don't even know how to describe it otherwise. I don't like where it cuts off. I don't think it ties in well to the rest of the design. It's like someone was just like, oops, I spilled some paint. We're just gonna roll with that now.
The
Yeah,
only
pretty
thing I
much.
like about this is the design of the wheel rim covers.
The wheel rim covers are nice. I will give you that. But
Well, and also you want to talk about advertisements. There's just like, okay, where do we put these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 advertisement companies? Oh, let's just slap it on the area that we don't have anything to put there.
But it looks like they took Orlean, which used to be like Alfa Romeo's main sponsor.
Yeah.
They took that partnership. It just adds like a weird red accent. I don't know. It's like the car like the livery unveil was, it seemed like they had 3 days to get this done because they just forgot to do it. And they're like, we just need to put something together for this presentation sort of idea. And boom, this is what they came up with.
Everyone loves that 3 days before a presentation. Just like, hey, can you take the lead of this? But yeah, I think this was the biggest disappointment. I also don't have much high expectations for AlphaTauri next year.
no.
So
After this past year, I feel like it's gonna be another rebuilding season. As much as Debris, as I like to refer to him now, did have a nice race in that Williams and whatnot, and I do think he's a talented enough guy to hopefully do some good things. I just don't think the car is gonna be able to support him or Yuki. Not a good 2022 season, and I don't think that's gonna change this year.
definitely not. So yeah, but lastly, only good thing is we are on to our last car. Williams came out with their FW45, and I think there was discussions about a major overhaul to mark the team's new partnership with Golf, but seems like
Where
it's
is
pretty the Golf logo, or
No, like where is this major overhaul?
I don't know, but it looks like it's kind of funny. Do you see the Duracell right above the seat? Kind
Yeah.
of looks like a battery. Like that's really
I
stood
like
out.
that. I think
Mhm.
that is smart placement. I think they did a little bit of that toward the end of last season, but just the design of that on the car wasn't quite as battery shaped, so it didn't stand out as much, if I
Yeah.
recall correctly. But as much as this isn't like a major change, I do enjoy what they've done toward the rear of the car behind the seat with some of the patterning with the different color kind of like boxes and chevron-ish stuff there. It's very pretty in my opinion. It's nice.
I also kind of like the blue and how it pops out with the light.
Mhm.
I thought that was a really unique touch. They're going with that cone design again on the front nose. We'll see. Again, not a team that I have very high expectations for this season, but I think it'll look good on track.
Yeah, I think it'll look nice. It's kind of funny just looking at the design of this versus the other cars. It's kind of making me think of like, remember 10 years ago when everyone started going for more like minimalist logo design and stuff? I feel like everyone else still has the very like racy early 2000s kind of vibe, even though it's
Mhm.
obviously not. And then Williams was like, we may not be fast, but at least we're modern, minimalist. And then just put together this car design. So they may not be ahead in pace, but they're ahead in taste. And that
That's too good.
And therein lies the genius of Williams. So
Perfect. I couldn't have said
that's-
it better myself.
I think that's the hottest take of of this episode. Thank
That's
you,
that.
Erica,
That is
for your
awesome.
words of wisdom.
I don't even know where that came from. I just I had a feeling and I went with it and it paid off handsomely. So here we go. Thank
So
you.
overall, what are your like overall thoughts? Do you find I find teams are just getting lazy
Yeah.
and recycling liveries over and over again. I understand that you don't want to change the look of the car.
Yeah.
But there's things you can do to keep your brand, keep your uniqueness, but really give the fans a cool opportunity to cheer on your team.
Well, I think it goes kind of that. It's, we kind of were joking this earlier in the episode that like, oh, nobody really looks forward to the livery, or, oh, this is 3 days out, let's just like throw something together. But you have teams like Ferrari that were able to bring like fans onto the track and got to experience like seeing actual car drive. I think teams need to really go back to, I don't know, you need to get your fan base excited. And I would say for some teams looking at their cars, I am excited. Other teams, maybe not so much. I don't know. But also they don't want to maybe put so many resources into a livery thing and just focus on the car itself.
Which I get, but at the same time, like Formula One's a business, make no doubt about it. Like as much as there's people who love the sport and are just passionate about moving the sport forward, it's a business. And in my mind, if you have unique livery and you take the time to put that in and change it year over year, that's a big, I think, selling point from like a merchandising standpoint, because people want to have the unique gear that represents the teams from that season. And if you have a spectacular design, I think people are more inclined to want to buy into it. Like think about so I know I mentioned McLaren doing that golf at Monaco. Like how many people do you see now when they're wearing McLaren gear, they're wearing stuff from that golf design? Like it's the pale blue, it's the like not quite as deep of a papaya, but still the like orangish color there. Like you do unique stuff like that, and people are gonna want to like buy into your team, especially for the new people joining the sport. Like they don't know a lot of what's going on in the background. They're either gonna go for who's first or they're gonna go for who's prettiest when they're picking a team. Like quite frankly, that's just how it is. That's truthfully like,
oh, true. Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if you and think about it, like if Mercedes has a whole line of these like super slick dark designs based on the car this year, like people are going to want to buy the merch, and that's more money in their pockets. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents. Like from a business standpoint, I think just investing a little bit more time in the look of your car might pay off dividends from getting new fans hooked on your team in the sport and then making more money off of your merch that season too. Because I'm not buying more McLaren gear. It looks the same as the car last year.
If I were gonna buy Ferrari stuff, I'm gonna like buy probably things from the year last year or probably 2020 or 2019. I don't like how the shell is here.
It's
like
so weird.
Yeah.
It
looks like teams are getting to a point.
I was gonna say the Ferrari shirt looks like when you give a 3-year-old a sheet of stickers and a blank piece of paper, and they're just like haphazardly taking the stickers off and plunking them down on the sheet of paper without really paying attention.
Tough one.
Anyway, that's
incredible.
That's my take on the Ferrari shirt.
Yeah, I just don't really like the black. It's I don't think it's really grown on me on this shirt. Sorry. Anyways. Okay, but I think this was a good episode today, just to kick off of season 3. And I think definitely we got Drive to Survive coming next week. We have also
our live event.
Yeah, I was just about to announce that. Yeah, so we're gonna be at Trinity Common in Kensington. Shout out to Mike for helping set this up for us and his team at Trinity Common. Absolute gems. So we're gonna be there. We're gonna have a little section. Myself, Andrew, Erica, and Tyler. Tyler's gonna be there, and a couple of other people. So like, come on out. We do encourage you guys to come early because we did hear through the grapevine that Trinity Common is a popular spot to watch races. So definitely come before 10 a.m. And the kitchen will be open as well, so you can order food. I think beer will probably be flowing by then. So yeah, come on out. We had a great success at our event last year. Let's try to beat it. And we're obviously going to still have our GoPro out. But if you guys got any questions, just write to us on Instagram. We can happily answer them. But I mean, new season, new space. We're pretty excited on ourselves.
I think it's going to be great. I know my friend Danielle had just gone last year to watch one of the races at Trinity Common when I think we're first kicking off this whole brunch and F1 thing. And there weren't a ton of people there, but she did go back later in the season. Like, this is an event. So we have a section ourselves, but if you're worried, you can always try to make your own reservations
Correct.
because we have about 20 to 25 seats, I believe. However, I don't know, we had a lot of people turn up last time. There's a chance we'll run out of spots. So when in doubt, make your own reservation because we'd love to have you there, but we'd hate for you to be stuck waiting a long time for a table or not get one.
That is totally fair. Andrew, do you have anything to add there?
No, I think it's gonna be a great event to kickstart off the season. We can't wait to see our fans and celebrate the beginning of the 2023 season with them.
Yeah. Woo. Party time.
Do a barrel roll.
Also, I forgot to say this, but shout out to Laurier alumni for putting our podcast on their website.
That is
Oh
true.
my gosh.
Yes.
So for everybody who knows, we all met in university at Laurier, and Laurier alumni office reached out to me about something, and I asked if they do a podcast website, and they do. So they put anybody who has a podcast at, I guess is you can just submit it. And so so we're officially on the page. So I'll put that in the link below, and obviously support a couple other podsters from Golden Hawk territory because it's great to be a Laurier Golden Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to me. And
I love
you
it.
go.
I miss those days.
Hey, maybe we do a homecoming show.
That would be
that'd
cool.
be fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Live from the Peters Building. It's the Formula One podcast.
Live from the 2-4.
Live from the 2-4.
I don't know what you guys are thinking. It's live from Phil's.
Live from
Oh,
Phil's.
yeah.
Oh God.
We get the backdrop spot in the corner there.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Get the raw audio file back, and it's just chaos, and you can't understand what anyone's saying.
Drinks being spilled everywhere.
Oh gosh. So we're just gonna end off season 3, episode 1 here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Obviously to my amazing co-hosts Andrew and Erica. Thanks for another amazing episode. I'll see you guys next week virtually for another episode covering we have our season predictions, and obviously we have Drive to Survive, and I think pre-season testing. So got a lot to cover.
Yeah.
And Andrew, want to do the honors and send us off?
Sure. Might be a little bit rusty, but try it out. Thank you everybody for listening to season 3. Yes, you heard it, not 1, not 2, but season 3, episode 1 of the F1 podcast. Don't forget to like or subscribe to our YouTube, Ricci on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Can't wait to see how preseason testing kicks up next week. And stay tuned for some wild predictions.